Here's the scene. Thursday evening. You're sitting at your kitchen table in Nashville. Your 6-year-old's asleep upstairs. Your wife's in the bathroom getting ready. Music playing from her phone. Some playlist she's had on repeat for months. She comes downstairs. Black dress, new perfume, kisses you on the cheek. Girls' night with Megan. Don't wait up. You smile. You say, have fun. She grabs her keys. Door closes. Her car pulls out of the driveway. And you sit there. Calm. Still. Because you already know she's not going to meet Megan. You've known for 3 weeks. And tonight is the last Thursday she walks out that door. That was my kitchen, my wife Vanessa, my marriage of 9 years. And this is the story of how I watched her lie to my face for 21 days and never said a word. My name is Nathan Cole. I'm a data analyst for a logistics company here in Nashville. I work with patterns, shipping routes, supply chains, seasonal trends. I find the thing that doesn't fit and I figure out why. 3 weeks before that Thursday, I was doing exactly that, not at work. On Instagram, Vanessa had posted a photo, her and Megan Holloway, her best friends since college. Big smiles. Caption, girls' night, we needed this. 47 likes, heart emojis from her sister. I almost scrolled past it, almost, but something in the background caught my eye. A mirror, not a restaurant mirror, a bathroom mirror, marble countertop, specific lighting. A toiletry tray with small bottles arranged just so. I knew that mirror. I'd stayed at the Hutton Hotel on West End Avenue 4 times for work conferences. Room on the 6th floor had that exact layout. That marble. Those bottles. I'd shaved in front of that mirror. Stay with me here. My wife was in a hotel room. Not a restaurant, not a bar. A hotel room. And she'd posted evidence of it herself, because she never thought I'd recognize the background of a bathroom selfie. Patterns don't lie. People do. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay next to her. She came home around midnight, slid into bed, smelled like different soap, and I stared at the ceiling. My chest was tight, hands flat on the mattress like if I moved them, something would break. I could hear her breathing. Slow, easy, like nothing in the world was wrong. I almost woke her up. Almost said the words right there. Vanessa, where were you tonight? But here's what stopped me. I'd asked her questions before, small ones, about charges on the credit card, about why she was home late, and every time she had an answer. Smooth, fast, calm. Like she'd rehearsed it on the drive home. If I confronted her now, she'd explain the photo. She'd say, Megan's friend works there, they stopped by for drinks, it was nothing, and I'd be the paranoid husband, again. So I did what I do for a living. I started looking at the data. Monday morning, I pulled up our joint credit card statements online. Vanessa handled the bills. I made the deposits. That had been our system for years. I never checked the details. What I found made my stomach drop. Every Thursday for the past 11 months, a charge, same amount range, the Hutton Hotel. Buried between grocery runs and gas stations. She'd been careful spacing them between everyday purchases, but not careful enough because she used the same card, our card, 11 months. 47 Thursdays. That's not a mistake. That's a schedule. I sat in my truck in the office parking lot. 15 minutes, hands on the wheel, couldn't go inside. Then I went to work, because that's what you do, you go to work. Tuesday, I called my college roommate, Ray Dawson, forensic accountant out in Brentwood. We'd been close for 20 years. I told him what I found. Long pause on his end. Then, how much do you want to know? Everything. Then don't touch anything, don't move anything, don't let her know you're looking, and call a lawyer before you do anything else. I wasn't ready for that word, lawyer. It made everything real in a way credit card statements hadn't. Wednesday, I drove to the Hutton Hotel after work. Walked into the lobby like I belonged there. I didn't even have to ask. The front desk clerk, young woman, maybe 25, looked at me and smiled. Mr. Cole, right? Your wife's not here today. She usually comes on Thursdays. She said it like it was helpful. Like she was doing me a favor. The hotel staff knew my wife by name. They knew her schedule. She'd been coming every Thursday for a year, and they knew her well enough to greet her husband in the lobby. I nodded. Right, Thursday, thanks. Walked back to my truck, sat there, stared at the building. 5 minutes. Then I started the engine. Here's where the story takes a turn I didn't see coming. The following Thursday, I didn't confront her, didn't follow her inside. I parked across the street from the Hutton at 5:30 and waited. Vanessa's car pulled in at 6:15. She parked, checked her hair in the mirror, walked inside. 20 minutes later, another car pulled in. Black sedan. Company parking sticker on the windshield. I recognized the sticker because I had the same one. The driver got out, adjusted his jacket, walked into the lobby like he'd done it 100 times. David Ashford, my boss, the man who promoted me 6 months ago, who shook my hand at the Christmas party and told Vanessa, "You married a good one," who sat across from me in Monday morning meetings and asked about my weekend with a smile that now made my skin crawl. He was the one meeting my wife every Thursday for a year in a hotel room I'd slept in during his company's conferences. My throat closed. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. 30 seconds. Then I let go, put the truck in drive, and went home. You know what the hardest part was? Not the betrayal itself. The math. Every Monday meeting, every "great work, Nathan," every performance review where he looked me in the eye and talked about my future with the company. 52 weeks of handshakes with a man who was destroying my family on his lunch break. That's not an affair. That's a parallel life running right next to mine. I called Ray that night. It's my boss. Silence. Then, that changes things. Legally and financially, you need an attorney. Not next week. Now. Friday morning, I sat across from Ruth Kessler, family attorney, East Nashville, small office, no nonsense. I laid out what I had: credit card records, the hotel clerk, the parking lot. Ruth looked at me over her glasses. How long have you known? 8 days. And you haven't said a word to her? No, she nodded slowly. That's either the smartest or the hardest thing you've ever done. Probably both. Ruth started the paperwork that afternoon. Here's what I need you to understand. I wasn't playing chess. I wasn't executing some master plan. I was surviving. Every morning I woke up next to a woman who kissed my cheek and lied to my face, and I smiled and said, "Have a good day." That wasn't strength. That was a man trying not to fall apart in front of his daughter. The next 2 weeks, I watched. Not because I wanted more evidence, because the shape of what happened to my life kept revealing new edges, and the edges kept cutting deeper. Megan Holloway, Vanessa's best friend, the one who hosted every girls' night. I found their text thread on our shared iPad. Vanessa had forgotten it synced. Is he suspicious? Megan, 3 months ago. Not even close. Nathan trusts me completely. Vanessa. Same time Thursday? Vanessa. Megan. Cover stories airtight. Vanessa. Megan wasn't just covering, she was coordinating. Every Thursday, she'd repost old photos of her and Vanessa, a lunch from 2 weeks ago, a coffee run from last month, and tag them that evening with fresh captions. Girls' night. The photos were stale. The lies were fresh. That was the moment something shifted inside me. Not anger. Something quieter. The realization that the person I built 9 years with had built an entire second structure around deceiving me, and she'd recruited Sophie's Aunt Megan to hold it up. Sophie. My 6-year-old, she made Megan drawings with crayons, called her Aunt Megan. Megan knew what she was helping destroy, and she showed up to Sophie's birthday party 2 months ago with a wrapped present and a smile. I picked Sophie up from school that Wednesday. She was telling me about her art project, a family portrait. Me, her, Vanessa, and Buster the cat, all holding hands. "Daddy, you look sad," she said from her car seat. I pressed my face into her hair. Held her longer than normal. "I'm okay, sweetheart, just tired." Meanwhile, Vanessa was running a new play. That Saturday, she made dinner. My favorite, chicken parmesan from the recipe her grandmother taught her. Set the table with candles, poured wine, left a handwritten card by my plate. "I know I've been distant lately. I want us to reconnect. I love you." She sat across from me with soft eyes, touched my hand over the table, said, "I've been thinking about us, Nathan. I want to be better. I mean it. And I swear, for 30 seconds, I wanted to believe it." The candlelight on her face, her voice, quiet and careful. The card in her handwriting, the same handwriting from 9 years of birthday cards and grocery lists and love notes tucked into my briefcase. Part of me screamed, maybe she ended it. Maybe it's over. Maybe this is real. Maybe the woman I married is still somewhere inside the one sitting across from me. I ate the chicken parmesan. I thanked her for the card. I went to bed. Thursday, she put on the black dress. Same perfume, same playlist. Girls' night with Megan. Don't wait up. She called it reconnecting. I call it rehearsal. Monday morning. Staff meeting. David Ashford stood at the front of the conference room. Quarterly projections. He looked at me, right at me, right at me, and said, "Nathan, your supply chain analysis was outstanding. You're exactly the kind of talent this company can't afford to lose." "Thank you, David." The room nodded. Someone clapped. And I sat there watching a man compliment my work ethic while he scheduled his next Thursday with my wife. That week, Ray called again. "Nathan, you need to come see this, today." his office in Brentwood. Financial records spread across his desk like a crime scene. "She's been moving money," he said. "Small amounts, 200 here, 300 there, into a personal account you're not on. Over the past 8 months, about $14,000. She's building a cushion." Ray shook his head. "She's building an exit. Nathan, she consulted a divorce attorney 3 months ago, a firm over in Germantown. I found the consultation fee on a credit card she opened in her name only. That hit different than anything before, because it meant she wasn't being reckless. She was being strategic. Vanessa had a plan. Take the house. Primary custody of Sophie. The hidden money as a runway. Megan as her character witness. David Ashford as her next chapter. She was going to leave me for my own boss, take my daughter, take my home, and do it all on her schedule. Every Thursday night, every girls' night text, every chicken parmesan dinner, all of it was the cover story while she dismantled our life piece by piece. She thought she was 3 moves ahead. She was 3 moves behind. Because Ruth Kessler had been working for 2 weeks, Ray had mapped every hidden dollar, and the papers were almost ready. But she had one more move. The second Tuesday. Vanessa came into the living room, sat on the arm of the couch. Her eyes were wet. "Nathan, I need to tell you something." My heart stopped. For 1 second, one honest second, I thought, she's going to confess. Right here, right now. She's going to choose us. "I'd been feeling lost," she said, tears rolling down her cheeks, voice cracking. "Like I don't know who I am anymore. I'm scared, Nathan. I'm scared I'm losing you. I'm scared I'm losing myself." She put her hand on my arm, squeezed. "I want to go to counseling. Together. I want to fight for this. Please." And the man watching this, you're thinking, maybe she means it. Look at her face. Those tears aren't fake. That fear isn't an act. Maybe, just maybe, this one is real. I looked at her. I saw every version of her at once. The woman I married. The woman who lied. The woman who cried on cue. The woman who might actually mean it this time. I wanted to believe it so badly my chest ached. Then Thursday came. Black dress. Same perfume. Girls' night with Megan. She wanted counseling. While she was still checking into the Hutton every Thursday. While she was still meeting David Ashford. While her exit strategy was 3 months into execution. She called it being scared of losing me. I call it being scared of losing her timeline. I didn't shout. I didn't break anything. I went to Sophie's room, tucked her blanket around her shoulders, and sat in the hallway outside her door. Back against the wall. Lights off. 6 minutes. Then I stood up and walked to my desk. Ruth had the papers ready by Monday, the last Thursday. That's where this story started. Vanessa getting ready upstairs, coming down in the black dress, kissing my cheek. "Girls' night. Don't wait up." "Actually," I said, "stay." She froze, hand on her purse strap. Something about my voice made her shoulders tighten. "What?" "Sit down. I need to talk to you." She sat, slowly, eyes on me the whole time. I placed a manila folder on the kitchen table. Thick. Ruth Kessler's letterhead on the top page. "What is that?" "Open it." She opened it, read the first page. Her face changed, not all at once. In stages, confusion, recognition, then something I'd never seen cross her face in 9 years. Fear. "Nathan, what is this?" "Divorce papers. Signed, filed yesterday." "You can't. We need to talk about this. You can't just decide. We're talking. This isn't fair." Vanessa, the Hutton Hotel, every Thursday, 12 months. Silence, the kind you feel in your ribs. "I know about David Ashford. I know about Megan covering for you with recycled photos. I know about the joint credit card charges, 47 of them. I know the front desk clerk knows you by name and asks about your schedule." Her mouth opened, closed. The color left her face. "That's not, you don't understand. I also know about the $14,000, the account I'm not on. And I know you consulted a divorce attorney in Germantown 3 months ago. You had a timeline, Vanessa. You had a plan." The tears came. Not the Tuesday tears. Those were a performance. These were different. These were the tears of someone watching their own strategy collapse in real time. "Nathan, please, let me explain. You told Megan," and I'm quoting, "Nathan, trust me completely." "You were right, I did." She went silent when she heard her own words. Her hand went to her mouth. "You wanted counseling," I said quietly. Tuesday night. Tears, hand on my arm. "I want to fight for this." Then Thursday, you were at the Hutton. Same room, same man, same lie. "I was confused, Nathan. You had a lawyer, a financial strategy, and a 12-month schedule. That's not confusion. That's a business plan. She stood up, sat down, stood again, paced to the window and back, then stopped and looked at me with something raw and frightened and very, very young. How long have you known? 3 weeks. 3 weeks? I learned from the best. That landed. I watched it hit. She pressed her hand against the counter like the ground had shifted under her feet. What about Sophie? Sophie is the reason I did this quietly. She's the reason I didn't walk into David's office and end his career in front of the whole floor. She's the reason these papers are fair, equal custody, equitable split. Ruth showed me what I could have pushed for. I chose not to. Because Sophie doesn't need to grow up in a war zone. You can't take my daughter. I'm not taking her. I'm sharing her, which is more than you plan to do for me. The fight went out of her in waves. She tried anger. You had no right to go through my things. I said nothing. She tried bargaining. What if I end it right now? I'll call him, right here. You can listen. I stayed quiet. I noticed a mirror in the background of an Instagram photo, Vanessa. I'd say I was paying attention. She sat down at the kitchen table. Our kitchen table. The one we found at that antique shop in Franklin when Sophie was 2, the one with the scratch from her high chair, and put her head in her hands. I didn't comfort her. Not because I wanted to be cruel. Because comfort was the thing she'd weaponized for 12 months, and I didn't have any left to give. That was late October. David Ashford resigned from the company the following week. I didn't ask how. Ruth and HR handled it. One line in his resignation, pursuing other opportunities. Megan called once, left a voicemail about how she was just trying to protect Vanessa. I deleted it before she finished. I found out later Megan had helped cover for 2 other situations just like ours. She wasn't protecting anyone. She was enabling everyone. The move was quiet. A Saturday, Sophie was at my parents'. I packed what was mine, 9 years, and it fit in a truck in 14 boxes. First night in the new apartment, East Nashville. Small place, clean. I made coffee and sat by the window. It was quiet, not peaceful quiet. Empty quiet. Sophie came Sunday morning. She walked in, looked around the apartment and said, "Daddy, can I bring my blanket from the big house?" "You can bring whatever you want, sweetheart." She set up her blanket on the couch, placed her stuffed elephant next to her, and looked up at me. "This is a good house, Daddy. That broke me worse than any of it." 2 months later. Saturday morning, farmer's market on 8th Avenue. Sophie's picking out strawberries, counting each one into the bag, very serious about it. Vanessa walked up. I didn't expect her. She was thinner, quieter, not the woman in the black dress. "She's gotten so tall," Vanessa said. "She has." Sophie waved. "Hi, Mommy." Vanessa waved back, then looked at me. "I should have told you the truth. A long time ago. Yes, I don't expect you to forgive me." "Good." She watched Sophie count strawberries for a moment. Then she left. Sophie tugged my hand. "Daddy, how many strawberries do we need?" "However many you want, sweetheart. That was the last Thursday I counted. The last hotel mirror I looked at searching for something that wasn't there. Funny thing about mirrors, they show you exactly what's there. She just forgot to check what was behind her." Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.